third time is going to be the charm with this particular recording. So this, the date for B-Day classes is fine. These are actually dates from last year. It was a 2-day assignment last year when we were meeting for 45 minutes every day. But the A-Day, because of our guest speaker, it won't be the 15th. It'll probably be the 17th. We'll see what we can do about kind of collapsing that together. So this is a research lesson on types of fasteners. So a little bit less hands-on-y. I know most of you don't prefer that, but there is a time when you just have to get the information that you need in order to carry on. And we will eventually be going into Fusion with some of this. So as you design and build products and devices in IED, you will find a need to assemble individual components into a larger system. And some of you noticed that with your luggage tags. A lot of you designed them in one piece, but a lot of you went with multiple pieces. So you actually had 2 different files that you designed, and then those files were intended to be connected somehow. So you had 2 different components that you wanted to connect. Sometimes a design will require that system components are rigidly joined together with no relative movement. So for your luggage tags, that was pretty much the way you did it. Well, not all the time though, but you might have had 2 components and you're like, we're going to glue these together and there's no movement. Other designs will require some freedom of movement between the components. So some of you had like a slot in your luggage tag where you could take like a piece of paper and slide it in and out. So there's some relative movement between those components. Sometimes a permanent connection is necessary so that components cannot be disassembled. Other times a non-permanent connection, allowing later disassembly will be better to address the design intent. So is this a product that you would eventually want to be able to take apart, or you might need to take apart, or do you want it to be permanently put together? To choose the best method to connect components, you should be familiar with common techniques to use to join components. So adhesives, fasteners, joinery, threads, and a more modern joint design snap fits. In this activity, we'll investigate joint types and common uses to help you create designs that better align with your design intent. So pretty much, and I know, again, like research pieces of the curriculum are not the most exciting, but in order for you to be able to do the best designs possible, even in Fusion 360, you need to know what kinds of fasteners and methods of joining things together are available for you to use. If you don't know they're available, then you won't think to design with them, and there's no way to find that out other than to research them. So it's just a part of learning. So these types of fasteners will correspond to different joints in Fusion 360 when we begin creating assemblies, which is the next big skill in Fusion 360 for us, where we'll have different files and actually put them together in a way that will move. Which is pretty cool. So if you have a real life component, say the automata, and it moves, you have a handle you want to turn, or you have something you want to slide, Fusion 360 will model that for you. And again, it will correspond to the different types of fasteners that you research in this lesson. So here's the deliverables. This is what you will need to turn in to me for a grade, probably on third quarter is what I'm thinking. And again, this is for the 2021-22 academic year. So if we are reusing this video and you get assigned this video for a later year, just make sure that you're paying attention for that year. But it's because A-Day, I don't really know what's going to happen with the A-Day after our guest speaker today. So one of the deliverables is going to be a 3 to 5 minute Flipgrid presentation describing your type of fastener and the key information about it. So your handout's going to guide you with some key questions. Your group is going to get a handout, and it's going to give you certain things to research and look up, and then key questions about it. And your job pretty much is to teach the rest of the class about that particular type of way of joining things. Fastener, I guess, is a broad term, but it's also like a narrower term. So you're going to have a handout. The handout can be found in the file section of your small group and teams. So I'll have a hard copy for your group. but you might want to pull the digital copy in your small group on Teams as well. And certainly, like if you're at home and you're working on this, then and one of your teammates has that file, you'll have access to it as well. And then the link for the Flipgrid is also in your small group in Teams, at least for this year. So you can be. It's been a long day. So you'll be able to find the link to the Flipgrid there. A half-page handout is going to be the other thing you're going to turn in with fill-in-the-blank style notes that your classmates can use to guide them as they watch your video. So the idea, and I think most of you have had at some point like fill-in-the-blank style notes, where you're going to compile about half a page, and it's going to go with your presentation, and your classmates should be able to watch your video and fill in the blanks. Okay, and it's a way of making sure that your classmates watch the video and are paying attention close enough to be able to get the information from it. This can be emailed to me by one group member, and make sure that all group member names are included on the body of the email. You're responsible for making sure that your name is on it. So ask to be copied on it. If your teammate turns in all this stuff and your name isn't on it, and you don't know enough about what's being turned in that you don't realize, like, oh, my name isn't on this, then your name isn't on it, you don't get credit for it. But make sure everybody's on it. Okay, so in the group work, you will work with the same groups that you were assigned on Teams, and I looked back, and those are the teams from the beanbag launcher, the fun fair project that we did. So those teams are all still there. So rather than like shuffle them up and reassign all the teams, like we'll keep the teams that are there. They're teams of 3 or 4, I believe. Now, if you are in a class where somebody has dropped the class and now you're a team of 2 and you're like, I don't want to be in a team of 2, we can reshuffle that around a little bit. But your group will be assigned a specific type of joining technique to research: fasteners, adhesives, joinery, snap fit joints, and threads. So now you'll be responsible for each one of those. As a group, you will divide up the work, research your topic, and develop a presentation to make to the class. You will record your presentations in Flipgrid to share with the class. So you guys know how Flipgrid works. You should be able to not only record, but you should be able to see the recordings from the other group members or other groups in the class. I think there's 8 groups. So each class is going to have 8 videos of 3 to 5 minutes each. So you guys can do the math. That's somewhere between 24 and 40 minutes of video watching. And then develop your fill-in-the-blank style notes to go with your 3-minute presentation, or 3 to 5. I set the limit on Flipgrid to 5, but it can't be any shorter than 3 or you'll lose points on that. It should be no longer than half a page, and then one group member can email it to me. Oh, it says they're no longer than 3 minutes. That was for last year, so that is a typo. That actually should not be there. Hang on, I can. No shorter than 3 minutes. There we go. No shorter than 3 minutes and no longer than 5. Fix that. All right, suggested timeline. So this is how I think this should work in a 90-minute class period. Read over the handout and decide who will research which topic. So that should take about 5 minutes once your team has the handout or once you've pulled it on your team. Just kind of go over that and see, like, and you can chime in like, I'll do super glue. Like, I'll research, I don't even know what else like is on the list, but you decide what you're going to research. Take about 30 minutes to conduct the research, answer the questions. So you'll become the best expert in your team on, Velcro, whatever. You're researching for ways of connecting things together, and answer the questions. Then compile the information into your half-page notes handout, and that is something you want to work on together. Like, what is the information for your type of fastener that absolutely has to get onto that handout, that needs to be in your presentation? So I would recommend, getting together with your individual notes and decide what your blanks are going to be, and then designate one person to type up the notes and email them to me. And that should take about 15 minutes once you've had that chance, that 30-minute chance to discuss okay, like I did glue, and here's what we need to know about glue. Here's what we need to know about Velcro. Here's what we need to know about, snap joints and, common uses for them. And, okay, you might have some pictures and whatnot. All right, and then designate one person to type out those notes and get them emailed. If you're that person, make sure you do know who everyone's name is so that you're getting all that information in. While this person is typing, do a practice through your Flipgrid presentation. So you've got this 3 to 5 minute presentation. If you've got 15 minutes delegated for somebody to type up the notes, that should allow you at least 2 run-throughs of your presentation so that you know what you're going to say when you hit record on your computer and you're not winging it. You can re-record your Flipgrid, but by that point, we're probably going to be running out of time in class. And then record your Flipgrid presentation. That should not take any more than 5 minutes. In fact, it will cut you off after 5 minutes. So it'll cut you off after 5 minutes. So you don't want to take any longer than that. And then, and then you should be done, and you're going to email that to me. And then what will happen next is I will compile all of the handouts for everybody, and then you will have to watch the videos and fill in the blanks. So there you go. That's where we'll go next. And then the groups are adhesives, fasteners, which I know we're overusing that word, but fasteners is like a broad word, but it also means something more specific. Joinery, snap fit joints, and threads. And so there's 5 groups. So we have a couple groups that are going to be duplicating each other, and I don't even remember who those people are. So yeah. Okay. And so that's what we'll be turning in. Again, for this year, this will probably go on 3rd quarter because 8A classes like lost a day and they don't have that extra day to kind of make some stuff up. So, so that is our next assignment and project, and always reach out to me if you have questions.